All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Also want to give double honors unto the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the elect of Yasha Salakia. I also want to give double honors unto the bishops of Great Millstone as well. And blessings and salutations unto the hopefully elect, the Akim out there enduring his truth across the four corners of the earth, preaching and prophesying through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations, but are of the nation of Israel on your father's side by blood. And as you can see, it says Trump administration is launching a new private health tracking system with big tech's help. And, you know, just upon reading it, I am going to read most of it, but I'm going to breeze through it. But if you can't see that they're constantly making moves, and not, when I say you, I mean in the sense of the ones who are calling themselves Israelites, the ones who says that the mark of the beast is not the RFID hit, they saying that it's whatever else. If you can't see through the spirit of YAHAWASHI that our apostles on down, all right, of course, starting with our apostles speaking about them. It's just coming together, man. It is just all coming together. And oh man, speaking about this RFID chip that would be able to have your health records on it, you would be able to make payments with it. It will be able to track you. They can shut it off. It's going to be a form of control, so on and so forth. If you cannot see that, then you don't deserve to get on a chariot. You just don't deserve to get on a chariot, man. You know, because they constantly talking about the word digital. They constantly speaking about making things easy or convenient. All right. Which I'm going to get into, because you can see right here it says President Trump. Right here it says President Donald Trump launches initiative encouraging Americans to upload personal health data and medical records to apps and systems run by big tech, quote unquote. Well, yeah, whatever. Today, the dream of easily transportable electronic and medical records finally becomes a reality. So, once again, it's about being easy. It's about making it a better way for you to do it for them. Which, when you go into easy, it says at ease, having ease, free from bodily discomfort or anxiety. The anxiety of not knowing where your child is when it comes to the tracking system. Well, I'll stay within the health, you know, because as we get into the article, they're going to tell you pretty much of certain walls and barriers that it will be able to break down by making it digital, and pretty much opting into making these sharing your information with these tech companies, so your information can be digital and easily transferred. All right. But it says comfortable, at ease, rich, well off. So it's in a form of comfort. Everybody likes things easy. You know what I'm saying? You know, but as Bruce Lee said, dang, I just had the quote in my head too. He said, I pray not for an easy life, but for the strength and endurance to endure a hard one, or something to that effect, you know, because within that is going to build character. You're going to learn lessons. You're going to appreciate whatever the outcome is, or the goal, or the results, or, you know, it's just like us going through learning good and evil at this point in time. Now we're going to appreciate the Heavenly Father and his laws, statutes, commandments, and the reason why the earth was made for our sakes a lot more than we did before, because we understand if we don't appreciate it, how it can lead us to acting and rebelling against our Heavenly Father, and we would end up back in this situation. Now, of course, we know it's not written like that. We know that the Heavenly Father got a new covenant where the law, statutes, commandments going to be written within our inward parts. All right. Therefore, we won't have to get back to this position. But as we're coming back up from the bottom where we was at, we're appreciative of this, man. And that's why we teach his word in truth and sincerity. All right. Because that's part of his commandment. We call upon a name and teach the name because that's part of the commandments, man. All right. So it says to put at ease, not difficult, requiring no great labor or effort. That's what people like. Here it is. America has fattened its people, man. But fatten them to prepare them for the slaughter. All right, fed them real well, got them real big and swole, so they can get as much meat off of them as possible, man. And they've done that by making things so easy, having drive-throughs and grocery delivery and gaming systems and shit, even cars, man. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Because obesity is hitting. Health risk because ain't nobody walking. You got these sedentary jobs, where they sitting down at work, at home. That's comfort. That's easy. You in your own shit. You ain't got to go out there and deal with the other energies or spirits, that's out there in the world, so to speak. You at home, you could be doing whatever the hell you want while you turn that damn camera off, put that headset down, do what you want. Shit. It's easy. All right. So getting back into the article, it says, I'm going to get into it. It says, the Trump administration announced it is launching a new program that will allow Americans to share personal health data and medical records across health systems and apps run by private tech companies, promising that will make it easier to access health records and monitor wellness. Oh, it sounds so convenient. It sounds so helpful. It's going to make it easy to access health records and monitor wellness. It says more than 60 companies, including major tech companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, as well as healthcare giants like United Health Group and CVS Health, have agreed to share patient data in the system. Because you got to think about it. What it is they created all of these different companies and created a system of privacy, all right, and keeping your personal information secure. And now it's like, well, what do you think? What about we do this and do that? Would you agree with that? Oh, yeah, I'm with it. Sign me up. So they made all of these companies that people utilize a whole lot. They made them to where you can go to Google for damn near any information you want, or to look up things for Amazon or things for Apple. All right, health things, whatever you want. Amazon, we know a lot of people order a lot of things. That's another thing, the 2020 situation. That sat people down, made them a little lazy. All right, to where they was delivering groceries. You got the Uber Eats and the Ubers. You ain't got to even drive yourself. You could just pay for somebody else to drive you. You ain't got to worry about the maintenance of a car or a car payment. Just pay somebody else. It's like leasing the car for a few minutes, that you ain't even got to drive. It says the initiative will focus on diabetes and weight management, conversational artificial intelligence that helps patients, and digital tools such as QR codes and apps that register patients for check-ins or track medication. So at the end of the day, it's like all of this can do this for you. You can even have it to where it's analyzing your information, and it can help you with certain programs. Just like when you got these weight training or exercising apps, and you have to put in your information. What's your age? What's your height? What's your weight? What's your body type? What's your goal? So on and so forth. And it sets up a plan for you. based off of the information that you fed it. It sets up a plan for you. All right, which they say with that within here as well. It says for decades, Americans' healthcare networks have been overdue for high-tech upgrades. That's another word they like to use. You know, and you hear upgrade is going to make it better, make it easier, make it faster. You know, it says President Donald Trump said during an event with company CEOs at the White House on Wednesday, the existing systems are often slow, costly, and incompatible with one another. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into a digital age. I just want to look at that word real quick. Don't mind my spelling. It says pertaining to numbers below 10, pertaining to fingers, digitalis, finger, toe, digit, numerical digits, a number below 10, finger, toes, to say, to speak, to show, also pronounce solemnly. I'm going to have to look into that, the finger or toe situation. But yeah, like they say, when the money that's in your account, that's what happens with bank runs. Everybody can't just go to the bank and get all their money because they don't have all that money in cash. It's digital. It's in zeros and ones. All right. You look in your account, whatever money everybody have, as long as it's digital, it's credit basically. It's like it's just there. But everybody go to the bank at the same time to get their money out, they gonna shut it down, man. Because all of that money is not in there. And trust and believe. I truly believe that they probably sat there and seen, how many times on average people go to the bank and how much money is taken out on this day, on that day. And all they got to do is make sure they have enough money in there. People got money sitting in there, and that's the same money that they use to loan out. It says the system spearheaded by an administration that has already freely shared highly personal data about Americans in ways that have tested legal bounds. And they did that when it came to the ICE situation, when it came to the, what is it called again? The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, And that's what they did. They allowed them to get the information to track down immigrants, possible people who shouldn't be living in here. It says 79 million Medicaid enrollees. That's what they did. So they don't care. They'll share your info in the guise of security, in the guise of an emergency, in the guise of helping, and they'll do that. And kind of remind me of the movie. Well, never mind. I continue going. It says that have tested legal bounds could put patient desire for more convenience. That's what it is. People like that convenience at their doctor's office on a collision course with their expectation that their medical information be kept private. And that's exactly what they want to do, man. Let me grab a preset real quick. We can't sit here and act like they just constantly stumble across all of these things. Nah, they all with it. This is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." And that's what it is. They have created all of these systems. They own all of the goods, all the patents, all the rights to certain things, and they know people need that stuff. All right. They've made this society sick. They made this society obese. They made this society unhealthy. And now, hey, we can track it, make it digital. We can help you. So on, this is all a setup at the end of the day. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You know, constant oppression, constant of attacking the man, attacking the woman, attacking the children. All right. They need to be schooled. If you want to homeschool them, you got to go through certain hoops. You know, why can't I just say, I want to opt out and just, homeschool my own? Well, you got this. I don't know all of the expectations behind it, but there was a video that a brother sent, and it was so many comments on there of people saying how they homeschooled their children and how more advanced their children was when they did end up going to college, or and that it was crazy, man. But we're taught that the only way is through this school system, and let's say the man don't want to do it, right? The father, well, you have to go through the mother. The mother will fight against it, and then she'll go with the state and fight, and then it'll be all, so the mother and father can't agree on it. Therefore, 10 times out of 10, the child ends up going to these, enter into these school system, which they don't teach you too much of nothing. All right, I'm going to try to skim through it and get a little bit more. Yep, this is again part of the convenience right here. It says those officials and patients will benefit from a system that lets them quickly call up their own records without the hallmark difficulties such as requiring the use of fax machines to share documents that have prevented them from doing so in the past. It says popular weight loss and fitness subscription service Noom, which has signed onto the initiative, will be able to pull medical records after the system's expected launch early next year. And notice, this devil is moving, man. All right, he has to. Hey, this is just me speaking as a man, but I feel like the Lord gave him an epiphany. You know what I'm saying? Visited him in his dream, and he just like, hey, we gotta get this stuff done. It says, Revelations 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's what it is. He knows that he got but a short time, so he's pushing and pushing and pushing. Because even within here in this article, which I'm going to try to find this part, it said they tried to set up something back in 2018, and I'll post this in the description if you want to read all of it. And this is just one step closer to the MOTB, man. One step closer. Yep, it speaks about RFK Jr. and his wearable technologies. There was a point in there as well. Yeah, here we go. Not right here. But in this paragraph, it says Kennedy also sought to collect more data from Americans' medical records, which he has previously said he wants to use to study autism and vaccine safety. Kennedy has filled the agency with staffers who have a history of working at or running health technology startups and businesses. So they are assembling the damn Avengers on their goal, man. They're getting all these people together to fulfill their mission. But they can't get all the people together to just stop giving out their bullshit medications and clean up the water and clean up the air, clean up the earth, Therefore, they're not fit to rule properly. This is what I wanted. It says the Trump administration tried to launch a less ambitious electronic record program in 2018 that did not get finalized during his first term, but it did not, Salakia, in his first term, but it did not have buy-in from major tech companies at the time. So this is something that Trump tried. All he's doing is finishing what he had started back then. And I was sitting here thinking like, well, dang, maybe that's what they did, is they sat there and they had him in office. I think it was 2016 to 2020. Yep. Because then you got 2020 to 2024, and he got elected last year. So, yeah, that was within that. We know what kicked off, what started in 2019. He was still in office, is that CVID kicked off. He issued out to do the stimulus checks and all of this and finalized by, no, they did come that year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, 19. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But that ended up happening. And then Biden got in there. And it seemed like when he got in there, things kind of slowed down. It literally did too, because everything came to kind of like a halt. People wasn't really moving around as much. People was cautious. And, now that since Trump then got back in there, things done sped up. It's almost like they like, nah, we ain't ready to kick it off right now. Let's put Biden old ass in there and slow it down so we can get everything together. And when we put Trump back in there, we'll just get it all rolling. This is the mind games that the devil plays, man. All right. There's always a precept I like bringing out that goes with that Micah 2:1. It's in Proverbs. Is it 4:16? This is Proverbs 4:16. It says, "For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall." So like when you got so much on your mind and you can't really go to sleep, you just there. What's the same with them? They lose, their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall. That's what comforts them. That's what makes them feel good. What's able to help them sleep at night. You know how people say whatever whatever helps you sleep at night, when they normally it's a situation of messing somebody over, man. Well, that's Esau, Edom, man. All right, the so-called white man. It says, "For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence." That's their diet. You are what you eat. All right. So that's all they know is wickedness and violence. W and V. That's pretty much the point. Of course, we got to get to Revelations 13. We're just in those times. Things are getting closer and closer to, I just need to highlight this just because. Getting closer and closer to those times, man. Okay. This is Revelations 13. I start at 15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast might should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be executed." Taken out, deleted, however you want to put it. But it's also talking about a form of excommunication as well. All right. Because that beast, the image of that beast is their system, man. Notice they keep saying the word system and digital and upgrade and easy and convenience. That's what they're pretty much creating. But it goes down into their ideology, their belief, their philosophy within it. They pretty much setting up their NWO. And if you don't comply with it, you can get the hell out of here one way or another. Verse 16, it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, their Neuralink, their RFID chip." All right. There's already people out there making payments, unlocking doors. They're living a somewhat convenient and comfort life with these implantable devices in them, Now they're coming after the health angle. All right. What? You can just scan your hand and pay? What? And boom, you can just send and transfer information. What if you're unconscious and Paramedics need to know what you're allergic to and da 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 da. Like, this is their convenience. This is their easy way. All right, this is how they dragging you in. That's their bait, you know. As we're fishing for men, they're fishing for men as well. Call all YAHAWASHI outside. Be some decent. Lord been giving me some decent. Lesson titles, man. You know, we're fishing and they're fishing. Don't take the wrong bait. That's a good lesson right there. It says, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So unless you got that technology in you, unless you complying with his system, you know, unless you're being a good little boy, a good little girl as they want you to be, which is pretty much a servant, a slave. They want complete and utterly control over everything and everyone, man. You know, remember, they didn't leave any grapes for the grape gatherers. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure unto the end. Once again, want to give all praises unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shalom.